Greetings, survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here, and as you may know, I'm rather partial to anything custom built in Rust, and I love it when people try to do something a bit different. So today's video is about not just a new custom map, but a completely new experience in Rust that's, dare I say, out of this world. This is Project Nova, an upcoming server that aims to bring Rust to the Red Planet, and has some very interesting mechanics. So I decided to jump on a shuttle and interview the creators for the full Matt Damon. Though, and before you ask, no, this isn't in any way sponsored, I just really like the idea. What's this? I have got some air in my inventory.
Basically, you're on Mars, so being on Mars, there's no oxygen. So anytime you're outside a base or a biodome, you will be required to have an oxygen tank on you and wear a hazmat. All around the map, we have refill stations. So we do have a refill station right here.
Though we have scientists as well.
Yeah, there are scientists on the map. So we redid all of the junk spawns to have kind of a Mars style to them. So basically, this is where a player would go to purchase bigger air tanks or to refill the tanks they have.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so it sells blood and bleach.
Oh yeah, just give it a second. It'll load in the icons.
All right, there we go. Actually, I like the sound of blood and bleach. That sounds quite interesting. Maybe for a different themed server. I don't know.
They could also refill their tanks at workbenches in their bases. If you drag a tank out, you'll start choking, shaking.
Oh, yes, I am. Okay, so I just have to have it in my inventory, and that's enough.
It was kind of interesting. The more we dove into Rust, the more we realized that there's a lot of kind of elements in the normal game that are kind of space-esque.
So you start off with 1800 seconds of oxygen. That's about 30 minutes, is that right?
As you always say, you know, these are all subject to change.
I should hope so, yes. And how large is the map?
It is a 3,500 kilometer map, but there's no water, so the land mass is what we would say equivalent to about maybe 3,900, maybe 4K.
And of course, no cargo ship.
No cargo ship. Yeah, we've removed the cargo ship ability, and as well as helicopters. However, we have alternatives to those. Oh. So within the near future, we're going to have free roaming rovers, which are in the works, where you can destroy those and get some good mid to high tier loot.
Yeah, here, if you want to look up real quick.
That's coming down quite fast. Probably something to do with the thin atmosphere. The Eagle has landed.
What we'll do is on the map itself, there'll be a radius to show players where they'll be able to find it, and a 2-minute warning, and hopefully they'll suit up and run over there.
Can't fail to notice the orange sky.
That was a very tricky thing to pinpoint. So all it is just coordinating the time, the year, and the weather.
So does this give us a clue as to when we can expect to get to Mars then? What's the date?
Year 9000.
I better break the news to Elon Musk then.
Yeah,
don't bother.
It's going to take Elon's ancestors a few years.
A little while. Show me around then.
So if you fly up, you'll see a lot of different aspects. Granted, the render distance a little bit, but you'll see these biodomes. We have 4 main biodomes. This one is 400 meters in diameter, and we have another size that's 200 meters in diameter. The 400 size ones have a few rad towns actually in them, such as sewer branch, mining outpost. The other one has a dome actually fully encased in it.
Wow.
But these are where players are going to go and gravitate to farm their typical resources like wood, animal fat, collect pumpkins.
Pumpkins, very important. So this is the only place you're going to be able to get wood.
The node spawns are basically like the old tree spawn. So if you go outside of the dome, almost anywhere on the map, you can pretty much see a plethora of nodes.
Yes.
Which, subject to change, but on the...
Subject to change? And you've got airlocks on these.
Yes, we do, yeah. He made a cool circuit to where you actually... You press the button, fully opens, and you can't press the other button until the other door begins to close. Then you can hear all the animals roam, like Snow White's in here or something.
Is there any chance that animals could get out? Technically,
I suppose. I don't know if they even. I don't think they'd last very long though, considering players would kill them pretty quick if.
Yeah.
Deprivation didn't.
So, is there any radiation anywhere?
Each tier of monument, such as the launch site and the oil rigs, we have much higher radiation, which makes it to where you have to have the upper tier class biosuits. So if you have the starter one, such as you have whenever you first spawn, if you try to go to one of the oil rigs and you didn't have God mode enabled, you'd get really high radiation, as if you were pretty much naked.
And how do you get the next suits?
You can get those from the outpost, as well as killing scientists. So you can kill a blue scientist for a blue hazmat, which is, I believe, one tier up from this one.
And you mentioned there was a launch site.
You gotta have launch site. Everybody knows it. So we basically encased it in a biodome as well. However, we broke it up to where, one, it makes sense to where there's not as much foliage, but most of the foliage is dead.
Because you've got some glass missing.
Yeah, so it's kind of broken up.
And Bradley is here as well, obviously.
Indeed.
I can see him now. And I see you've got a couple of excavators.
Indeed, yeah, that's another monument, another custom out of the biodome monument.
Oh, and I love what you've done with the rovers.
The rovers we've had to remake a few times because we had prefabs that would render infinitely on those at first.
What's this? Is this a space elevator?
It is.
It's the space elevator from Satisfactory.
So we even have like an elevator button, so you can call it down if it's not already down. And we'll ride this speedy thing.
Blimey, that's fast.
We have to do it fast because players can call the elevator up and down. Speeding it up is to reduce the amount of weight that you would have to do if a player was just spamming it up or down, basically.
Right, and you've got
like an extension.
A wheel of misfortune. Smashing. You've got vending machines, traps, turrets.
And then on the right we have the outfit one.
So is the safe zone oh my, what's happening to your legs? I guess that's part of what happens with Mars gravity, isn't it?
We have recyclers, workbenches. We even have a custom-made refinery that doesn't even look like a refinery. It looks more space-themed over by the elevator.
What vehicles are you allowing then? Is it just cars?
We did leave vehicles, just because this map is so vast in terms of transportation. So we did leave the modular vehicles around the roads.
Right.
But yeah, you can travel around via modular vehicles, just no mini copters or anything.
So obviously you've got no day-night cycle.
Correct. Yeah, and that's basically to achieve this look and the hues, so that way it's permanently this time.
Presume for that. I don't know. I just pressed it because that's what I do when I see a button in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't seem to have done anything.
As you can see, subject to change.
This is very much subject to change. I do think just having a mystery button in the middle of nowhere is very exciting, don't you? I think there should be more of that sort of thing. Okay, so what other monuments have you got here?
Yeah, so basically this is a crashed freighter that we made. It's kind of a giant spaceship, and it's a blue card puzzle. There is a vent system you would work your way through, and basically you're trying to make your way to the bridge to enter in a fuse to be able to enter the main, I guess, corridor of the ship itself.
I don't remember this pathway to your vent system.
I have no memory of this place. Oh no, so we've got to go back.
He made this monument. I didn't make this one.
All right, always someone else's fault, isn't it?
So with Mike's plugin, one of the many custom ones we made for this, we do have it to where anything that requires oxygen, such as torches, campfires, stuff like that, you have to have within a base, including planting plants as well as biodomes.
Okay, so I couldn't light a torch out here then?
Correct.
Or a campfire. And does this also mean that if I grow stuff, I need to plant it in my own feces?
It does have to be indoors in a planter. There is no flamethrowers, incendiary rockets, anything that basically produces fire in that regard for ammunition, we've removed off the server.
This is really good. I just want to hit it with a rock. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, I love these. These are great. Very sexy indeed. So I've got to ask, what do you think this says about the lore? Was this inspired by the lore? I know you've got Project Nova being mentioned.
Oh, 100%. The lore of Rust, since Rust already has so many Cobalt space mission kind of aspects to the game, especially launch site, I think it just kind of fits in with the game pretty well because it already has so many aspects like Mike was mentioning.
Yeah, if you try to escape the map, you get hit with pretty extreme radiation, and you'll die before you hit the edge.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of really cool suggestions from the community. You know, we've been getting so much feedback of things that people would love to see. You know, one of them being jetpacks.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a way we can figure out how to do it. If you go along the road, you'll find a billboard. So we basically have billboards all throughout the map. Some of them with tips and tricks on how to upgrade to certain things and kind of help the players, and others is just a shameless plug.
Who did the art for you? Did you do that yourself?
I'm a web developer by trade, so I deal a lot with graphic design.
Welcome to the best place not on Earth. I like that. I thought you said you couldn't have fire on here. This car's on fire.
Yeah.
I'll let you off of that one. I'll let you off of that one. No, sorry.
The one thing to keep in mind is with this whole new oxygen mechanic, it's going to make raiding a lot more difficult. The person you're raiding is going to be inside their base and won't need oxygen, but the people outside will need oxygen.
Well, if they blow your roof off, then your base, you need oxygen inside your base at that point. So if you're wearing metal gear and somebody rockets your roof somehow, then you're exposed and choking of lack of oxygen.
So there is that new level of game where they have to kind of manage multiple attires, and so we're really interested to see how that affects like strategies and players and things like that.
Yeah, because I guess that door camping is going to be expensive.
Every 30 seconds there's an exhale. One thing we did do though is if you take your tank off, you will go silent and your screen will shake, so you can sneak up on people, but you only have about 45 seconds to do that while you're losing health.
I like mechanics like that where there's kind of a trade-off between things. You know, you can be clever, but there's a cost. So when you spawn presumably with an oxygen tank.
Yep, with that starter one of 1800 seconds.
So what would stop people just killing themselves repeatedly to get lots and lots of tanks?
My idea was, so we might lower the max capacity of a starter tank. They would have to have so many of those little tanks on themselves that it would just eat up their inventory space. So if they were out raiding or gathering, it would basically limit what they can take home with them.
Well, obviously that's something as well that's subject to change. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how you modify it going forwards. So, I know what you're thinking. When can I land here and start choking to death? Well, this server will be opening up for you to play on at 3 PM CST on the 30th of July. Population limits will be played by ear. I'll put all the connection info down below in the description, including links to the very nice server website and Discord. Of course, I'm sure you'll have questions that I haven't covered here, so ask away in the comments and I'll see if I can get them answered for you. Please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group to stay up to date with my content. And if you'd like to support me, then please check out my Patreon. Links are down below. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Subject to change.